Hello, welcome to you all to the full explanatory video of Hercules app signals. I'm going to explain in what consists Hercules app application. At the same time, I'm going to show you how to properly connect and follow the strategies from the inside once you register, and at the same time, of course, in what it's based, this entire application. So first thing first, let's go with the TradingView. So as you may know, all my strategies that I have, like for example, let's take a look into this one, the BTC 30 minutes DOMINUS correlation. So in this case, for example, we have the strategy right in the TradingView. So in this case, the strategy, it comes with its own backtester where you can see, how it performed over X amount of time. And at the same time, together with it, I'm bringing on the table as well the alerts. And these alerts, in this case, for example, you would have the long entry alert or short entry alert at the same time with the long exit and short exit. And as you may already know, once we have these alerts, of course, we are going to need a bridge platform in order to connect to our broker. And in this case, one of these bridges, for example, it's the website 3 commas. But yeah, there are much more of those, like for example, Wonderbit, Crypto Hooper, Alertatron. There are many potential bridge applications that you can use. So in this case, now of course you would make the strategy, you would have the strategy, so you would have to go into the 3 commas. And here, for example, in the bot, you would have to create a long bot, and on the long bot, you would have to put here on the alert. So on the long entry, you would put the market entry order from the bot from the 3 commas, and from the long exit as well, you would have to put the close order command into the alert, and the same for the short entry. However, we did our best to simplify this process, and now we are not going to need at all, the TradingView platform. And let's say, for example, you are a type of person that you don't care, about doing your optimizations. You don't want to, you either don't have time to do that, and maybe looking too complicated for you and everything. So we decided in this case to make Hercules trading app. And in this case, what we are doing, I'm taking these strategies that we have from the TradingView, and in this case, I'm going to keep them into a server, and that server is going to trigger directly into our website, the entries and the exits. Like for example, we can see this example that we have here. So when we have these entries, because we are going to have multiple strategies from where we can choose from, like for example, we have BTC correlation 30 minutes, calculus 3 and 4 hours for the ETH, calculus 3 and 4 hours for BTC. At the same time, the correlation calculus that we have for BTC 4 hours. And lastly, of course, we are going to have the manual trades. Sometimes, I'm inputting by myself, orders. At the same time, for example, I am replicating these entries that we have here and I'm modifying them. Like for example, I exit much faster, for example, than the strategy itself. So in a way, I interfere, with those. So in a way, now instead of requiring TradingView, with this application is like we don't need TradingView at all. So for this, however, we are still going to be required to have a 3 commas account. But we are going to be required to have the 3 commas account in order for us to connect to the broker. In this case, for now, we are supporting FTX, Binance, and for now we have those two, but I believe later on we can incorporate the others as well. But if you can find a way, to add this similarity of pair, like for example, we have this list of pair list that we have here. Let me open the so for example, we will have this pair, and I believe you can find these pairs, into other brokers as well. But you have to make sure that you have the potentiality to go, in a short, so they'll have to be futures. So anyway, having said that, how does this all work? So let's imagine you are going to make yourself an account, and then you made your account. First thing first, you'll have to go into your account and you'll have to integrate your 3 commas account. So here, for example, you will go on your 3 commas, and from here you will get, first, let's imagine like you connected yourself the exchanges, so we have here our exchanges. Like for example, I'm putting, I don't know, the paper account itself, for testing for the 3 commas, and then for example the Binance and so on. So once we are going to create these exchanges and we are going to add them into our integration, then for example we are going to have the APIs, and with the help of these APIs that we are going to have here, we are going to be able to integrate the 3 commas, into our website for signals. So then once we have that, now the things that we have, like imagine for example we are going to have multiple type of strategies, and we are going to take a look, for example, okay, so last year for example which strategy performed the best. So we can see for example calculus 3 hours, we can see again calculus 3 hours, the BTC domination, so these more or less perform the best. But you are like, yeah, but maybe I would like something that's a little bit more safer. Like for example, I cannot sustain, such a low win rate. So for example, you are going to go with calculus correlation instead, because this one, for example, is going to bring you a much higher win rate compared to the other ones with a much lower profit. So it's going to be up to you, although in general I kind of recommend to diversificate into all of them properly. So anyway, having said that, now we have these strategies. We are going to go into the terminal, and here in the terminal we are supposed to, to follow these strategies. So let's say for example I want to take this one and this one. So then I'm going to go here in the strategies in the terminal, and I'm going to follow these strategies. And once I'm going to follow these strategies, now it's the same like when we are going to get an entry and an exit alert, from this part, it will trigger automatically, inside of the app. So we are not going to need TradingView at all. In this case, we only need the app and 3 commas and the broker. So then the other thing that's going to be left, now we will have to create the alerts. So in order to create the alert, we are going to click on create a new alert. So let's say for example in this case we are going to follow the DOMINUS correlation, and in this case we are going to select our broker, although initially I fully recommend to go with a paper account, so you test properly the functionality, you check that the bots are working correctly, and all these stuff. Once we are going to have this, we are going to select the allocation of the capital. So let's say for example you have $1,000 and you want to use for example an auto compound, or you don't want to use compound, you just want to use the fixed amount. So having said that, now the next thing that we are going to have to do is you can either do this with the 3 commas smart trade, which is the recommended way, to do this. The other way, it would be, for example, like with a custom webhook. So in this case, for the custom webhook, you would have to create your own platform. So let's say, for example, you have your own server or something like that, where you are going to integrate the broker itself, with the potential entries and exits. And here, for example, in the messages that are going to appear, you are going to have to write, the messages that you are going to be using, for your own webhook. So if you have your own server or stuff like that, please let us know, and we are going to gladly help you, with this part. So having said that, let's make, for example, for the Binance Smart Trade. But let's go back, and in this case, let's take Binance Future. So we can make a small virtual setting and see how it goes. So we can see, for example, we go this one. I'm going to take my paper account. This paper account, you can see, is going to be this one from here on the dashboard. The paper account 280,633. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to put, like I said, for example, $1,500 because it's going to be the minimum in this case, but that's the minimum because of the amount of pairs that we have. But this, this can change for the later. So let's go with the confirm. So now we have created, our bot, we have created our alert and everything. So now let's make a test. So I'm going to go into the terminal because I am the admin. And in this case, for example, I'm going to create, let's say, look, I'm going to take only one pair itself. So I'm going to take BTC USD. I'm going to make a long, fast long, and I'm going to input, in this case, 10% of the capital that I have. So I'm going to do this, available capital. So capital, I don't want to take any take profit or anything. I'm going to create the trade. And then, for example, I can see if I'm going to go in the dashboard itself, in the terminal, Now in theory the trade should appear. No active trade. Yeah, there we go. So now we have, you know, the entry that we had. So if we are going to go into the alert on the active, in theory, on our smart trade on BTC, we are supposed to have an entry here. So if I would go on USDT and I'll go BTC USDT, you can see that right now we have an entry alert which just happened right now. So we can see that we enter $150 in this case. It's because it was 10% of our account. So if you remember, we had we had a 1,500 initial account, but from my part itself, we can see that I use only 10%, you know, for this trade. So for this one, we can see it's here. Now let's make the other change. So let's say, for example, okay, I believe this trade, you know, right now I'm going to close it. Let's see the difference price in the entry and in the exit. So we can see in this case, the buy was on 31,276, and in this case was 31,184. So this is going to be a little bit different because in this case, I'm using the API from the Binance itself, while for example, this it's having its own prices. And we can see that if I'm going to take a look at BTC on USDT per, you can see that on Binance itself right now is 31,160, while here is 31,170. So it's a small difference in the price. So because of that, but this is of course because we are using a paper account. When you are going to use, you know, the broker itself, you are going to get the data, you know, from the broker itself. So now let's imagine, for example, I want to close this. So let's say I'm going to close, I'm going to dispatch a long exit. So in this case, this strategy has been closed. We can see that's appeared here as closed. So then if I'm going to enter here on the 3 commas as well, I'm going to see that the strategy itself, you know, has been closed when I'm going to input the order from the app itself. So this is more or less how it's working. Of course, you know, in our case, we are using either the strategy, you know, for example, from the BTC or the DOMINUS 30 minutes. So in that case, like for example, when an entry is going to be input, we are going to receive like 30-40 pairs, and let's say you have $1,000, you're going to divide that amount into each one of these pairs. So that's more or less what we have. So yeah, I strongly welcome you all, you know, to register and try it because it's for free for now. So yeah, if you have any other question, please let me know. As always, you know, I'm going to publish in the YouTube as well the website, but you can find on app.hercules.trading or just at traderlife.com. Here as well you can find me, you can find the Telegram, you know, you can find my ID and everything. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope it solves most of the doubts that you had regarding the app. So yeah, thank you. Bye bye.